This is for you. It's part of the history of this house.
Thank you. A jade plant.
Mm-hmm. When Dan Warren and I got married in 1946 and left Norfolk for Port Charles, my mother potted cuttings from a jade plant that she had since I was a child. And she sent it along with us. And I kept it on a windowsill in my kitchen, and I pruned it, and I potted the cuttings. And my children had children from this plant, and my grandchildren, its children. And now it's for you and Luke and Lucky.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I will put it in my kitchen window.
And it will feel quite at home there.
Come on, sit down. Would you like some cider?
Oh, I'd love some. That would just be wonderful. Oh, I like your rocking chair.
Thanks. It's a gift from an old friend of mine.
And I see you've bitten the paint.
Oh, you know, when we first moved in, I wanted to repaint.
Mm-hmm.
And then the longer I lived with this, the more I liked it. And then we had to fix all of the plastering, and now I can't match the color.
That's because Dan mixed it. You know, he had a hardware shop over on Prince Street, and it's still there. But oh my, that man loved to fool around with some paint.
When did your husband die?
Died in the summer of 69. Oh, but I had two husbands. The first one died in the guts of a destroyer on the Pacific Ocean floor in 1944.
Oh, Mary Mae.
Well, understand, I didn't begrudge the white boys who made it over the rail to the other side. Lord knows they had wives and mothers too, but I was mad, and I took it out on myself.
How?
Well, the way women do, or used to do, but I think women today are, they got more sense. My father told me that you're going too fast. And my mother, she just put her head down in the chenille bedspread, and she'd cry. She was right to cry, because I was lost. I was singing in a nightclub outside Norfolk. I was 18 years old. My young husband was dead. One night, a tall, handsome Navy lieutenant came in, sat down at a table by himself, and just listened to the music, and that set him apart right there. And came back again, and then the next 4 nights running, and he stayed both sets. I used to do a real fine arrangement in those days. So every time I say goodbye, it was like, every time I say goodbye. And after the second night, he asked for it every set. I wasn't in love with him. I was in love with the appreciation.
Did you marry him?
Honey, he was white. Well, not that black and white had anything to do with what was happening between us. It was the music. And it was my state of mind. Anyway, in the course of time, he shipped out, and I had a baby.
Who was Bradley?
He was Bradley. Which brought me back to reality. Babies have a way of doing that, I suspect you know.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, and anyway, following year, I married the best man I ever had, who was the father to my son, and then another one, and to my daughter. And then we moved here.
And you bought this house?
And we bought this house. And it was home to us, and to Bradley and his wife and his children, and until I just had to give it up. And you heard that story.
Did you ever see the Navy lieutenant again?
Oh, yes, I did. Indeed, I did. Come on now. I want to see it upstairs. Show me the upstairs. The trees have grown, and the garden's all gone, but otherwise, still the same.
Where was your garden?
Oh, We had a vegetable garden over there. Then tomatoes and onions and squash and, my roses were over yonder.
Oh, I've always wanted a rose garden.
Oh, well, Dan built the trellis for the climbing one, and we had tea roses, we had red, we had pink.
Oh.
Oh, you have a bench.
Yes. That's actually one of the very first things I bought for this house on Madison Street at a yard sale for $25.
I had a bench in the same place. Oh, I used to sit here, and I'd sew, and I'd keep an eye on the children, or I'd snap beans for dinner, or I'd pray, say my prayers. Now, Dan said that the porch swing was his best place. This was mine.
Do you remember when I asked you if you thought that a place could hold memories?
Honey, that was the moment I knew that you and I were going to be friends.
Well, this place is where the memories have always felt the strongest and the most powerful to me. When we first found this house that night, before we even ever tried to go into the house, I came around to the backyard. And I stood right about here. And I didn't want to move. I didn't want to say anything. Because all around me I felt something. In the air, in the light, in the grass. It felt alive.
Why don't you sit down?
Aren't you cold?
Oh, honey, I'm as warm as I've ever been in my life. Sit down here. You know, when I was a little girl, my grandmother, my father's mother, taught me how to read. Now, understand, she only taught me so I could read the Bible. And I learned how to do it. And learned all those beautiful words when I went to school. And that was the best gift anybody could ever give me, you know. There I was, a skinny little girl with all these beautiful phrases that I didn't understand in my head, just rolling around. But there was one that I just loved the sound of. That was the communion of the saints. The communion. And I asked her, I said, what does that mean? And she said that that meant that there was a bond between all of God's children of goodwill, dead or alive, and of God's bond to his children and the angels and all of life's forces and holiness. And that this bond was real. And that it was everlasting. Every person who had love and joy, suffering and sorrow, belonged to all of us. And that's what I think you were feeling when you stood in my yard. You're shivering. Shivering.
From the cold, I think.
I think you better go in the house for a while. Because I need to stay out here for a minute, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I don't mind.
Oh.
Of course not. I can heat up the cider again if you'd like.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And you come in whenever you are ready.
I will.
Luke and Lucky should be back in a minute. Lucky really wants to show you his new dog.
Oh, I like that.